Is Carmen, and today we've got a reading for you about a child and the parents of that child, perhaps its children, not really getting along well enough to be able to determine a schedule for that child or children. There's definitely some animosity or resentment that's built up over years that it feels has kind of tainted this custodial battle and turned it into a more negative than it needs to be experience. So let's call in spirit with a little bit of Winchenton. And I hope you're having a good day so far. I hope you have nicer weather than I do. If you're interested in a personal reading, I would love to do one for you. My email address is wickedonestarot@gmail.com. It's in the description box for you, as is more information on how to become a member. Thank you to the current members. I also feel like it's just a little bit dark in here. So let's light one more candle. All right. We're going to start with the situations deck and see what else we get about this family thing that's going on. All right, did I say hello? Hello, Key Controller. Hello, Renee. Hello, Mukti. How you doing? Single, current status, available. So this is a relationship that has ended between two people that have a child or children. This was something that has been particularly bitter for one person because they had kind of expected things to go well for a long time. They felt like it was serious love. And now we have this ending of their relationship. I think kind of putting this person in the category of sour grapes, if I have that saying correctly, someone who's not really letting go of a decision or an outcome that upsets them and it impacts a lot of what they do. Hello, Rose. How are you doing? What else do we have? Denial, bounty hunter, and happiness. Yeah, so someone's refusing to face the truth, perhaps this sour grapes individual. So it feels like they're trying to get back at the person they expected to be their partner for a long time and try to impact their ability to see their kids. Hello, online account. How are you doing today? Almost work year next month. If I can say. Will able to stay. Is it like a contracted role? And thank you for the tip. I hope you're having a good day. I've got it written down. So when I start the personal questions at about 30 minutes in, yours will be the first one that I do. Hello, Erkin. How you doing? Hello, Align Your Soul. I agree. Hello, Elena. I do not. Hey, Mukti, please don't repeat your messages. Okay, I got you online. Excuse me. We've got... This is so weird, you guys. Okay, so confession time. When I took a little bit of time for myself this morning, I was scrolling through YouTube and it was recommending videos of court cases where they're determining what happens with the children. I don't understand. But it does happen sometimes where things that I watch, whether it's movies or, music that I listen to, sometimes it ends up tying to the reading that I do within the next, 10 hours or whatever. But I do feel like we have somebody who is trying to make another person look bad, their ex look bad, in order to gain favor in a court that is deciding what the arrangement will be with a child or children. We have somebody who is making false claims. There's the children card. Trying to make the other one look guilty. trying to make it seem like they're not managing money appropriately, perhaps using child support money for the wrong things. But we definitely have some like contentious online meeting, I feel, regarding whether or not there's going to be a change to that agreement that was already put in place or that was being negotiated on. All right, this is the Pulp Tarot. Hello, Salvador. Hello, Manuel. I hope you found it. Hello, Loki. We all do process. Or Prasan? Is that what it is? Sorry. Hello, Lemonade. How are you doing? We have the Page of Cups in the reverse and the Chariot in the reverse. I think we have someone being denied the ability to maybe go on a trip, visit the grandparents. Maybe we have somebody who is arguing that I don't want to let my child drive anywhere with my ex because of the condition of their car, because we have 2 references to cars right now. But I feel like they're lying about something to make this look more egregious or difficult. Yeah, there it is. This is like, I want to make something that is like medium concerning seem extremely concerning so I can take advantage of it and work out some sort of a change in the agreement to be more favorable to me. Oh, that's clever, Brandon. Hello, Rida. Hello, is it Simo? How are you doing? Hello, Suvik. How are you doing? Five of Cups and the Ten of Swords. This is a trick that has the potential to be like a scorpion's tail and, well, I don't know if that's the right analogy, because it'd be like the scorpion stinging themselves. Because this person who's trying to create an illusion, who feels certain that they'll be able to win up against their ex, is actually going to end up getting caught for lying or misrepresenting things and may end up with consequences as opposed to like a victory. Hello, Stella. How are you doing? Hello, Bill. Hello, Diesel. Wow. So when I worked in retail, we had to deal with these like reviews or like callbacks or surveys that people would do. Thank you for the tip. Feelings for Civic. I appreciate you. I'll start those personal questions in about 12 minutes. So, wait, no, sorry, more like 22. We've got somebody who felt like everything was perfect and then everything changes. And the goal is, how do I make this person hurt? Now that I see that they're not interested in me, or now that I see that I can't really convince them to come back to me, I'm going to switch up my approach. Instead of chasing them and hoping that I can convince them to come back, they're swinging over to, how can I hurt you? How can I make you feel bad because you hurt me? And I don't have much respect for people who are willing to involve their children in something like that. You gotta allow them to be aware of what's going on, but not in the middle of it all, right? So we have somebody who lies, And then we have somebody who gets, I don't know if it's like put on the stand or has the evidence. It's like, oh, well, this person said this or did this. And then the next person's like, oh, well, that's interesting because here, if you look at this attachment or this picture, this piece of evidence, we have the person who just said that saying they were going to say anything it took or were willing to lie about it in order to make this person suffer. That's interesting, isn't it? That's suspicious. So it's a pretty big battle. Five of Wands clarifies the Five of Cups right next to the Wheel of Fortune. These are all cards that talk about change. Five is inconsistency or, you got to choose a path. This person is choosing to attack a parent who is not guilty of the things that they are saying. So we have the Queen of Swords versus the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Swords is in the reverse. This is the parent that's lying. But I also feel like this Queen of Pentacles is their motivation. I want to perhaps make you look bad so that I can be in control of the child support money, or so that I can be obnoxious towards you about when it's time to pay me the money, or, file motions against you. Keep in mind, y'all, I don't have kids. I don't deal with this. I don't know what this world is like. So if I use the wrong term, my apologies. But I think pretty clearly we have somebody who is trying to make their ex look guilty of something that they're not guilty of. Hello, Fate. How are you doing? Hello, Gosh. How are you doing? Hello, Train. Or Trey. Hello, Matt. What's up? Hello, Cassie. How are you doing? Thank you for subscribing, Vera. Hey, Reclusive. I'm going to ask you to take it down a notch or we will time you out. Like, seriously, if I walked into somebody else's, meeting and just yelled, sorcery, I would fully expect to be, laughed at. I don't know. Is that just me? Anybody else out there? Sit down. Stay for a while. Maybe you'll see it's not as bad as you think it is. Hello, Tech. How are you doing? So we have the Labyrinth and the Harpy. Among the confusion of the twisting turns and the endless chase, will I find myself in the heart of the maze? So part of the issue here is this is someone who, our Queen of Swords in the reverse, the one who's lying. This is somebody who doesn't really know who they are. They've taken little bits of other people's character or personality or beliefs and kind of hobbled that together to create who they are, which means it's really hard to know where you stand with this person, and you never really know what they're going to prioritize or what they're going to choose when they deal with others. And I feel like this could be in part because it does seem like they play the victim. They don't really like to be held accountable. So if you try to hold this person accountable, what used to be a very kind and jovial individual may suddenly show you a different side, right? Oh, that's funny. I'm starting to wonder how many mats there are because I've seen that happen a few times. And I think also maybe with Joe, was it maybe? Hello, Joyce. How are you doing? Oh, Joyce, if you were watching my channel, you would know I do that pretty frequently. When I do freebie questions, which I do think is an important part, by the way, I like to choose those questions based on what the individual is asking about. Sometimes it feels like there's someone who has a pretty specific need, and then I write that down. In fact, I've got one written down from yesterday where someone asked if their husband was at peace. But yeah, it's my charity to dole out. I'm sorry that you don't like how I choose. Hopefully someday we'll be able to find a way to make you part of that list. Hello, Wayne. How's it going? Hello, Nahuela. How are you doing? Or is it Nahuel? Adrian? Okay, I think so. So we've got a creature of many guises. In storms I soar. Amid virtues and vices, a reflection of life's score. So I feel like we've got someone who, again, keeping life like track of the score, they want to get back at this person. You've embarrassed me or you've made me feel rejected. So I feel like what I need to do is make you feel the same way. So how can I get at you if we're not in a relationship anymore? Unfortunately, a lot of people turn to, okay, well, who do we have in common, right? Can I turn your friends against you? Can I turn our kids against you? Not the best of plans, but it seems to be what this Queen of Swords in the reverse has chosen. Hello, Elena. ¿Cómo está? The Ace of Wands, the Queen of Cups in the reverse, and the Hanged Man in the reverse. I think we've got someone who doesn't want to admit that there was a reason the relationship didn't work out. I think this is someone who doesn't want to admit that the other person is actually a pretty decent parent or is handling the situation fairly well. Maybe they asked for the divorce and it is insult upon injury. Sorry. Yeah. Right? Is that the way it goes? To see this person having a pretty happy existence after the divorce or the end of this breakup. So it seems to be romantic problems that are somehow affecting this family connection when it really shouldn't. It's emotional manipulation. So we've got the Page of Wands and the Magician with the Two of Rings or Two of Pentacles. There's someone here who's very observant. It could be a lawyer. It could be a judge. Someone who is very, I think, they're able to determine a lot about a person's character based on how they communicate and how they interact when they're in a perhaps anxious state, which probably happens a lot in a courtroom, right? Or a Zoom call for the court. The Chariot. Someone calls the cops and reports something that is inaccurate. This person feels like because they've been able to get something on record that this is going to make it look like they're telling the truth. But in reality, it draws attention to the fact that they're trying to frame someone to look like they're doing something when they're really not. So sometimes people lose sight of whether or not their plans are actually pretty strategic or solid. Sometimes people let their anger impact their ability to read the situation well. I'm so angry. Of course, these other people are going to agree with me. I laid it all out for them. There's a million movies and crime shows out there that like to point out how people do things wrong when they're breaking the law. So I don't know why there's so many people that feel like I'm going to do a good job of it. Hello, how's it going? And then Hey, Elvira, I'm gonna put you on just a little baby timeout. We don't like to have repeat messages, and you've repeated that several times. Hello, Raiden. I start the personal questions at about 30 minutes in, with preference to those who tip or donate. Wayne, I believe the answer to that is yes. Does it all the time? Probably not. But I do think it has the power to. So this person who made a false report in hopes that it would bolster their lies has actually drawn attention to the fact that they're trying to make somebody look like they're guilty of something when they're not. And as a result, this information is shared or is part of the conversation when talking about the custody, making it at this point, I think, clear to the Queen of Swords in the reverse that this was a bad idea, that you should not have tried to lie to an investigative body who's going to look into things and realize that maybe you just falsified something. I feel like there were neighbors talked to or phone records that were looked into, and it was not at all substantiated, whatever this person was trying to claim about their ex. All right, so this is the Cat's Eye Tarot. Hello, next of kin. How are you doing? Did I say hello to James? Hello, Steven. What's going on? Seven of Swords. Imagine that. Somebody's lying. With no apparent regret or remorse over what damage they could cause to somebody by creating this lie and sticking to it. So I feel like there's a fine or there's an actual cost. It could be jail time for some. It could be you have to, pay all the legal costs. It could be you don't get to see your children for a month. I don't know, but there's actually a consequence for this person who felt like they could just manipulate people and everything would go their way. King of Cups, Two of Wands, Two of Wands is in the reverse, Three of Wands, and the Five of Pentacles. Now this person has less access to the child or children because they created a story and lied in order to make the other person look bad. So the action swings in the favor of the accused. So it looks like you created this story in order to take advantage of the custody situation. As a result, it's going to be altered, but not in the way that you requested. It's going to give more time to your ex or no time to you because you're out here spreading gossip or creating it, rather. Not even just like someone told me and I thought I should keep talking about it. No, you're literally out here trying to create problems for people. So kind of feels like someone gets the book thrown at them. That's funny, Zatskia. Oh, I hope that changes for you soon. So we've got the storks to talk about good news. I think this is saying the person who was wrongfully accused of something that didn't actually happen ends up getting a better outcome than they could have really imagined because there is proof that they were being basically targeted. So I do feel like this is someone who is able to stay relatively calm or even silent during some of the proceedings, probably demonstrated a little bit more conservative approach to the conversation, probably didn't interrupt anyone. This is someone who is trying to do everything right to make sure that they could take care of their child or their children. So the tree, I think, is a reference to this person's mental fortitude or strength, but also somebody basically saying, like, that's my kid. Like, I'm not going to play games. I'm going to take this very seriously. Like, it's the most important test of my entire life. Hello, Elvira. This is a general reading. I start personal questions at about 30 minutes in. We've got Thief in the reverse, Lover in the reverse. So there could have been an accusation of theft or misuse of money. We have Merchant. I think we have somebody who accuses their ex of stealing something, and then there's evidence that this Queen of Swords in the reverse, who's lying, sold that themselves. For others of you, this is someone who was trying to make it seem like that payments weren't coming in when they really were. But there's a record here that the Queen of Swords in the reverse didn't think anyone would have access to. And it's like, that's weird. You said this didn't happen, but looks like a receipt. It says so-and-so paid you this amount of money. That's interesting. Hello, Kevin. How are you doing? Young woman in the reverse. Enemy in the reverse. Pleasure seekers. Yeah, there were witnesses here to what happened, what really happened. So when the Queen of Swords in the reverse lies, there could be literally like eyewitnesses, even if they're like related to the Queen of Swords in the reverse, saying, yeah, no, that person's lying. I saw what really happened. Or I saw them have an outburst and this is what they said. They said they were going to cause a bunch of drama for this person. I think we even have somebody who's decided to no longer be friends with the Queen of Swords in the reverse because of the lies or the stories that are being generated. In other words, we might have some people who are switching to the other side, right? Maybe I'm your cousin, but I saw how you treat your ex. Or I heard you say that you were going to press false charges on something. We could have somebody who's saying, look, I appreciate that you would prefer that I be loyal to you, but this just doesn't seem right or fair for the kids. Right? Hello, HNY. How are you doing? So this is what looks to be a rather positive, wow, that was real Minnesotan of me, a real positive outcome regarding this agreement or what happens with the child or the children. The person who has been steadfast in their dedication to doing right by those kids or by that child gets the approval, right? You get to have the arrangement you want, or we're not going to look any further into this because it's false. We have somebody who feels like it's time to celebrate because they've finally gotten through this difficult situation. All right. This is the Tarot de la Nuit. It's here. Hello, Q2X. How are you doing? So for this Queen of Swords in the reverse, who created a false accusation or story, there were inconsistencies discovered and an investigation that resulted in finding out it was false. Just somebody who's trying to make another person look bad. So there's wasted time here already. So when the decision comes through, the decision is for the person who is telling the truth. The Queen of Pentacles, the person who wants to do right by the child or the children and probably initiated the breakup or the divorce. Ace of Wands, a new agreement. Nine of Pentacles in the reverse, Two of Swords in the reverse. I do feel like there could be probation or even a short trip to jail for someone. With the Nine of Pentacles being in the reverse is like a loss of independence. And probably also somebody who was falsifying financial records. So I think there are some consequences. And the person who has lied is definitely being advised, we expect to not see anything else like this again, or there will be pretty steep consequences, like worse consequences than what you think these are. So a little bit of a, we'll be keeping an eye on you. Just make sure we're telling the truth, right? Setting a good example for the kiddo. So this remorseless individual who really wanted to cause drama for their ex is starting to finally feel regretful over their choices. Why? Because they've been caught in their consequences. Why? Because they have to pay money, or they don't get what they want, or they were yelled at in a public place. They have to kind of regroup and acknowledge this wasn't the right path to take. This has made things worse. I didn't feel better by trying to cause drama for my ex. What do I do with my energy now? This is an opportunity for them to make the right choice. The Queen of Swords in the reverse has an opportunity to heal, to shed that desire to get revenge or cause drama for other people and focus on more important things like, being a good parent. All right. Let's move to those personal questions. We've got online accounts up first, and then Suvik. Will I be able to stay at the current job, the contract? It's feeling like it would be wise for you to have a backup plan, because I do feel like there is some issue here. It could even be that there's just, someone not doing their job, not completing the paperwork. So there's a gap here. But I see there being a different opportunity where you may feel like the team is more so the culture or the type of people you want to be working with. Does this require applying? If there's something you can apply for or put your name in the hat for a new job, yes, there's a better boss out there for you that would be a really good mentor. Not at the current place, though. Star in the reverse. I do feel like this is an opportunity that you become aware of in a somewhat strange way. In other words, I don't feel like you're going out there looking at like a job board and saying that looks like the right title and then applying. I feel like there's something here, maybe even a connection to someone you previously worked with or someone that you're related to. Somebody that says, hey, have you looked at this? Or, hey, we have a spot here. Did you want to put your name in the hat? There's something here that gives you a little bit of an edge, or this sticks out a little bit from the other options. Hello, Coma. How you doing? All right. Online act, I'm wishing you luck. It does look like you've got something better out there for you. You're able to kind of anticipate or get ahead of it, rather. I hope things get easier for you. Hello, Holland. Hello, Grant. A little bit, yes. All right. So for Suvik, what are Geet's feelings for Suvik? 9 of Wands in the reverse. Four of Cups in the reverse. Feels to me like ambivalence, or like I'm trying to not think about you. Not exactly rejection, or like anger, but I'm trying to just compartmentalize and leave that over there to deal with at a later date. Hanged Man in the reverse. The Eight of Swords and the World in the reverse. This is someone who feels like they don't have the ability to pursue something with you. So it's like, I want you, but I've accepted that it's just not going to happen. There's too many things in the way. But there's still feelings here. There's still someone who wants to know, like, will I see you again? But I feel like they've resigned to the fact that there's probably no way to be together. Yes, I like that perspective, James. Hello, Mark. How are you doing? Did I say hello to Joe? How's it going? So I hope I say this right, Salama, I've been jobless for a long time. Are there any opportunities in the near future? See something after 6 weeks. So I don't know how you define near future, but this looks to me like roughly 2 months out. There's someone here who realizes that they've got too much on their plate. They've been holding off on making an offer or trying to find someone to help them, but they are overwhelmed with their workload. And you know a lot about what this person's dealing with. So I do feel like there's an opportunity, but it would be more like in the 8-week range. But I do think you're going to hear about the opportunity. You might be able to get started on the, like, let's interview or talk about what it is that you're looking for, and get that out of the way. But it could be that this person's waiting until the start of the new year before they add to expenses. Thank you, Rachel. Hello, Anu. How's it going? Hello, Jimmy. What's up? So we have the Magician in the reverse. The biggest obstacle here for you is to make sure that you remember that you're capable. Confidence is going to be something that carries you through a conversation in a very important way. So it may be as simple as, before having to talk through in, say, an interview, your experience or what you bring to the table, write it down and talk to yourself in the mirror about it. Make sure that you really have the gravity of your experience or your skill set confidently able to be discussed about, right? That's fun, Matthew. Hello, Kay. Oh, looks like you done been booted. Thank you, Rachel. Isn't that funny when it happens like that next of kin? All right. What does Avira need to know about Priyanka? Avira, I hope you know I'm doing this because I want to help you, but I would appreciate in the future no repeating of messages, okay? A little aggressive in the live chat, but I want to help you out. What will happen with Priyanka? Queen of Pentacles, Knight of Swords in the reverse, Ten of Pentacles in the reverse. There's a family issue here. An expectation. This is the type of person you should be with, or this is the exact person I expect you to be with, or that person, we don't like them. There's something that was said here, very sharp, very unforgiving about what should happen. King of Wands in the reverse. There's someone very angry at Priyanka. Yeah. I feel like the no contact situation is largely because of family not supporting, or someone in particular being opposed to the two of you, or influencing her to feel like you're not a good choice. Her emotions are still there, but she feels like she can't do anything because Three of Cups in the reverse, there is this resistance or this block. Matthew, yes, I do often take personal questions at about 30 minutes in, and people tip anywhere from, $3 to $20. But I do also offer long form personal readings, and that you can talk to me about via email, which is wickedonestarot@gmail.com. Love doing those for people, and have had some really sweet things said by folks recently. So thank you to those folks. Hello, Free Cinema. How are you doing? No problem. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I will be back in a little bit to see you all again. But thank you for the likes and the subscribes. And if you're able to hype the reading, I appreciate that as well.